What is up, Facebook? So I managed to find a spare high E string in my bundle of strings, and as it turned out, my acoustic needed a new high E string, so I literally stabbed myself in the finger and snapped two strings, or one string, before I got to this. Right now I'm tuned in half step D minor, which allows me to not quite. Hold on a second. Ha ha. If I'm not mistaken, that sounds like Numb by Linkin Park on the guitar, right? The flip on. Yeah. Because I got curious. I was like, I wonder how you play Numb by Linkin Park on the guitar. That'd be a cool song to learn. I found a video on YouTube, and within 10 minutes of putting the string on, they're like, well, it's this fret and that fret. So I'm going to those frets, and it's not sounding like it. So I'm like, well, I'll dink around on the strings until I find it by ear, I guess. Or something like that. Yeah, right there it says. Cool beans, Facebook. And I just picked up the, okay, you don't believe me. Well, let's rewind it just a little bit then.
Then 17 on the high E string. So all together, first time through. Now I'm going to start over the second time, starting with the same three notes, the 15, 18, 15 on the B. Then back to the 18, 17 on the high E string, over to 18 on the B. So all together.
Ugh. I keep thinking I'm messing up on it, and then
So if you have a second guitarist that can play that, if you don't have a person playing the samples, it's kind of an easy little melody to play there. Now, halfway through that riff in the intro, the actual guitar part hits. It was just playing the riff that's actually the chorus riff in the song as well. It sounds like this. All right, so that's now, since we're in a drop tuning, we can just play our power chords with one finger. So we're going to play across the 4th, 5th, and 6th strings with your index finger, 5th fret. Pick that again, and slide down to the 1st fret. For the next power chord, sometimes you'll see people come up and they'll play a jump way up here at the 8th fret. But in reality, he plays it like this, which is taking that power chord, instead of playing it here, playing it here, and then also adding the 5th in the bass. So how that's going to work is as you can do it while you're holding that 1st fret bar, and then you're going to just add the 3rd fret on the low E, and then the 3rd fret on the B, which with the bass guitarist makes it really sound like that chord's being played an octave lower. And then we resolve it back to the regular power chord shape on the 3rd fret there, bottom of the string. So all together. And just repeat. So that's probably the main riff of the song. Every time you hear the chorus, that's what is being played. Now, they go through the first verse with no real guitar line parts at all. But as we get to the pre-chorus, we have this part. Now, in the second verse, you hear that the entire time along with the second pre-chorus. Now, what is that line? You're just going to play the 12th fret there on the G string, and then the 10th fret on the high E. So you pick the 4 times on the G string, let that ring, and then pick the 10th fret on the high E string, and then back to the G string once. So we have this. And then just repeat that. Second time through, it's kind of like the planet there. And then we just go back to the same chorus riff that we played as the main riff that started the song. So the only new section is the bridge, which sounds like this. It's a really cool part of the song too. And then it's back to the chord. All right, so what that riff is just that same power chord shape. And we're just going to call out the fret numbers. We're just going to take it and just drag it to these different frets. So we have 1st fret, then 3, Then when you get to 5, you start going a little bit quicker. 5, 7, 8. Then the open string. Those 3 strings open, so we have this. Then we're back here at the 1st fret now. Then 3. Then hit the 3 open strings 3 times. And then back to the chorus. So I'm just play through that bridge for you one more time. And into the chorus. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. Once again, that little sample part happens at the end of the song too. So if you want to play that, you've got that transcribed for guitar at the beginning. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you again.
Indeed. Sorry I wasn't paying attention to chat on Facebook, but indeed I was thinking to myself, it'd be cool to learn a Linkin Park song on the acoustic, would it not? And of course, Facebook, if you wanted to be a bit more salty with your guitar playing. Yeah. That's a classic acoustic guitar riff that everybody knows, right? Speaking of classic guitar, there we go. Back to. There we go. That's fun to play on the guitar. You ask yourself, can you shred the acoustic guitar? The answer is yes, but you have to be a lot more accurate with it because this thing can plug into the amp. However, the jacks needs to be repaired, so I'm not worried about it. I can still play this without an amp pretty easily. You know what I'm saying? Look out. Now, I haven't played guitar in a couple of days, and I stumbled across a high E string, and I'm like, well, let's put this on my guitar. Hold on a second. That's not real scales. You're just mindlessly shredding on the acoustic. Okay, well, shit. Okay, it's like 9:52, and I don't want to be playing, even though the acoustic is the more quieter of the guitars, I don't want to be playing guitar past 10 o'clock on a weekday. It's just, you know, courtesy. keep this one safe in the case. It's a Fender T-Bucket, and I got a Swampadelic sticker on there because that's some mind-blowing heat. Ooh. I wouldn't mind a drop of that right about now. That would clear my sinuses right out, I'll tell you what. Now, I should have this batch of wands done in the next 2 to 3 days or so. Yeah. That way, and as soon as they get bought, I can get them tubed up. I can get the labels on them, get them in the mail to you. Yeah. Um, but I'll show you one of them that's has dried on the paint. Take a look at that. Take a look at that. This is the green wand in the batch. What do you think of them apples? And that's before I've even put the paint or the blah. Did I say paint? Blah. I meant to say handle. Speaking of which, now that these are dry enough, I'm going to get the handles wrapped. I need glue. I should have enough glue to finish the handles here. The paint's dry enough, it's not coming off, it's not sticky. And the reason I put glue on oh shit. The reason why I put glue on the knot is so it stays in place better when I podge it. Simple enough. Nice little handheld, basic, abracadabra style, And let's get this wrapped around in a knot. Now these are dry, I can start putting handles on them. This has been a really nice batch of wands too. If I could make all my batches like this, I would be happy with it, but sometimes my wands don't turn out like this, so I happen to be very fortunate when finding sticks with this batch. There we go. There we go. Get on me, you bastard. There we go. Now, once I've gotten the handle wrapped on there nicely, it's time to put the glue on it and set it to the side. So oof. Asperger's, excuse me, Facebook. Oh, damn, that's some raunchy, dude. Oof. Some raunchy farts, man. God damn. But the sooner we get these done, the better. Oof. At least I'm not farting when mixed company's over. That would be horrendous. So, you know, if you got a date coming up, try to avoid eating gassy foods. I mean, everybody farts. You know, people say, well, that's not ladylike if you don't fart. Shut the fuck up with that shit. I'm tired of that sexist, cliche, double standard bullshit. Let's get this out of the way right now. People fart, period. End of story. Don't be a stinking hypocrite, making a big stink about it. Like, oh, I can't believe this person had the audacity. What? The audacity to be a human and relieve gas? Shit. You ever try holding in a fart, YouTube? You don't want to do it. Because then eventually it builds up, and then the longer you hold it in, the louder it's going to be when it comes out. If you're sitting there, oh, dude, I got to rip some major ass, and I don't want to hold it in. But then you look around your setting, and you're like, oh, fuck. Then you're stuck in one of those situations where you have to hold it in. By the time you relieve it, you're just like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Here we go, peeps. That's what I'm talking about. Now, I got them draped over some paint cans so they can dry in groups, in a group, much faster. Yeah. And if I can get these down to a science, if I can get these down to where, not an exact science, not necessarily that, but like getting it done super fast and getting them sold, more people will be able to buy them. And you know what I'm saying? That's what's up, man. I mean, these are real magic wands here, man. People have had real testimony to them. People have personally testimony to my wands. Like they sit there and say, oh yes, I took your wand that I bought from you from the casino and won this much amount of money. And I'm like, well, that's kind of cool. Right on. That makes my wands more high in demand. Trust and believe that. There we go. Get him done, son. It's kind of an interesting way to open a Facebook Live video. Like, oh, look at that. He's playing Linkin Park on the acoustic. Right the fuck on. And it took me like maybe, I was able to learn that song in one sitting. That's kind of cool. And yeah, there we go. Now instead of squeezing it to the vice clamp where I put that glue there, I'm just going to do a little teeny tiny dab on that knot right there, just like that. And then I set it down on top of the paint cans. And yeah. Simple as that. There's two. This orange one, for instance, is very Halloween themed, and You notice on the handle I left the bark on there from the pine tree to give it a textured look. Makes it look more rustic. Yeah. So I went up to Walmart to get my wand leather, and I'm checking it out, and I noticed that the company that makes this wand leather makes there's a company in India that makes this wand leather, and it's excellent stuff for this wand business of mine. Now, even though some of the supplies aren't made in America, at least the wands themselves are made in America, which is that's pretty cool, I guess. I mean, their laws are a little, I don't know. I mean, I get why they do it, you know what I mean? But like, I don't know, when it comes to relationships around the world, people are just, different cultures are way too strict, dude. It's like, okay, you can't even, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can get killed for doing some of the things that you're allowed to do here in the States. I mean, holy crap. I mean, yeah, the Middle East is, the good portion of the Middle East is pretty sexually repressed, man. I mean, it's hot as heck outside, and you're making some poor chick wear a full on body tan. What the f is that? You're walking around. You're walking around in your little Arab pajamas or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Like, not trying to talk shit. I'm just telling it like it is. Probably very cozy. But heaven forbid if a woman over there show ankle, right? Shit. So women in this country want to complain about how bad it is. Go live in a third world woman-hating country and then talk to me about how bad it is in America. Same goes for the men too, you know. Like, I've been known to complain about certain behaviors that some women do and not name names or places or anything like that. Just, you know, general discussion. And to be fair, not all women are like that, you know. And it's unfortunate when men and women treat each other like shit. When they do those things, YouTube and Facebook, it makes their sex look bad. Like, it does, Facebook, when you get a bunch of guys who collectively leave when they get their chick pregnant. That's not cool. It makes guys look bad. When you got a bunch of girls who all they do is bitch about how pieces of shit men are and blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? It's just back and forth bullshit, dude. But remember, it takes two to fight. So, you know. So it would be nice if the world didn't have sexist, unfair treatment, if the world didn't have racism and stupid people and bullshit. But that's a part of life, unfortunately. Now, some of that can be changed, and it's a conscious effort on everyone's part, really. And just because someone's a male and white, it don't matter. Everyone experiences sexist, unfair, racist treatment. That's why it's called sexist and racist treatment. It's the sad part of it. It really is. People, it just comes in different forms, mind you. So just because you're a male, don't think that sexism can't happen to you. You know what I'm saying? It just comes in different forms. Oh, you're a male? You must like sex all the time. Oh, you're just a pig because you have a dick and balls between your legs. See what I'm saying? That kind of assumption. You know what I'm saying? And those are the assumptions that hurt people in the dating scene. You know, over in a lot of religions over in India, they have massive respect for snakes and cobras and all that. Indian cobras are now, snake charming is pretty much illegal in India now. You know what I'm saying? Even if you have the cobra completely fanged and with venom in there, they're still, you know, they're like, nope, that's cruelty to snakes, can't do it. Which is nice. And they usually get reported to the Indian Wildlife Association, and they get a description of what the person looks like, what color the basket is, that sort of thing. All these, you know. Yeah. Here's the thing of it. A lot of the Indian people like cobras because they're farmers, and if they're farming rice and other sorts of crops that mice might want to get into, you know, it protects their crops from being destroyed. So even if you don't like snakes and creepy crawlies, they do play an important part of the ecosystem. I don't like mongooses too much, but without them, the cobra balance would be out of check. They'd overpopulate and die out. I mean, you'd have other cobras, like the bigger ones, eat them and stuff, but, you know. And even the smaller, they don't get any smaller than like this one, and the nice little thickness, you know what I'm saying? And these are going to have to dry overnight on the glue before I can polish them. It's today Thursday, tomorrow's Friday, right? So if I can have these wands sold to you on Etsy by Sunday, Monday at the earliest, I think you'd like that. Keep in mind there's only 10, so as soon as they sell out, as soon as I get them shipped, I'll make more. It's just how it's been going. I'm not trying to get my fans sick, mind you. That's why I'm turning away to cough when I make these. Of course, some of my fans are so obsessed with me that they probably feel honored if they got the same cold I did or some, you know. You think I'm joking? I'm flattered, to be honest, but that's yeah, that's not a stretch, bud. Yeah, there we go. Get on that, you scurvy. Now, there are some women who are more independent. There's nothing wrong with that. But as a man, if you have a little bit of money to pay for drinks and a meal, it at least shows you're financially stable. And women want to feel like that too. So that's why sometimes you'll see a woman say, oh, I got this, you know, but offer to share. You know, so that's just the way I look at it. When it comes to dating and responsibilities, you share the responsibilities of, it's 50-50, you know what I'm saying? Don't expect your partner to do more. Always do more for her. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, you hear a guy talk like this and you go, huh, this guy sounds like a gentleman. Huh, how about that? red, orange, yellow, green. Looks like I got two more wands to handle. And I try to make my wands, when I do the basic ones like these, you know, relatively universal thickness, you know. I tried to break that in half with all my muscle. Couldn't do it. That's because the sticks for these wands were fresh as fudge. Now I get these handles on here, let them dry overnight, and then Friday I can get these suckers podged and drying on the final process. So that way I might be able to get the wands on Etsy on Saturday. And once I get them sold, we'll get them tubed up. I'll stick to doing just batches of 10 or 11 because it's smaller and easier to carve, gets them out quicker. Well, I am but a simple and humble wand maker. And you really find out real quickly how how two-faced people really are. And, well, to be quite honest, it's sad, really. You think how miserably short life really is. You think of how miserably short life is, and you're wasting years away by being a two-faced fake bitch. And it's like, dude, why? Why are people like that? I don't understand it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm only a dick to those who are a dick to me. Like, people don't like it when I fire back, but it's like, well, people can dish it out, but they can't take it when I say, and that's because I go too far. And yeah, that's not a good trait to have, I'll admit that, but people shouldn't have started it then, because I usually end up finishing it. 9 times out of 10, when I finish it, it's verbally, you know. I'm not going to resort to violence unless I'm being physically attacked. That's fair. Now, I'm not going to tell you when these will get listed in the next couple of days, but just be on the lookout if you want a wand. That's something I'll be letting YouTube know as well, because there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people who are just like trying to get their hands on it. They're like, oh, I gotta have one. I'll have to lay off vocal coverage for a bit until the cold goes away. It's just not working. And I'm slowly getting less and less decongested. My immune system seems to be working into overdrive, which is most excellent. And let's see. 21. Cool. Yeah, this one's dry. Cool. Now this one right here, as you can see, is gold and silver. I bled the two together. That looked cool. All right. Now get these last two wands handled, and I want to wrap up this video right quick. I don't want to be. I mean, I can make it as long as I want, but I'm not going to be up too late, anyways. Now, when I hear women make the statement, all men are just pigs, my response is, how do you know? Have you met every man? And when men say, all women are just bitches, I go, how do you know? Have you met every woman? And if they say no, then I'm like, well, isn't that kind of an unfair assumption? Yes. But like I said, when people have negative experiences on the dating scene or have to travel long distances to date, it can put a strain on their psyche. It can also, you know what I'm saying, make them trust the dating scene a lot less. You know, so if you can shoot for a relationship, you're better off trying to get one a bit closer, but yeah. But if you're someone who's willing to date somebody 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 states away, what does it say about the people in your dating area? Oh, you son of a bitch. And then it does that. I have just enough warm leather for this handle, and it decides to come unraveled. It likes to do that. Hold on a second. The warm leather was wrapping so nicely, and then right towards the last two, it's like, I'm going to give you some shit. And I'll tell you what, life is a tester. And, you know, when I fucked up on that Linkin Park video that I was trying to do for YouTube several times on Facebook Live, I had several times I could have lost my temper, but did I? No, I did not. I could feel myself getting angry. You could probably see me getting red in the face when I'm like, you know what, this is just so not worth getting angry over. There are bigger issues. I mean, I made a complete ass of myself. I spilled pop, my cup broke, my voice was raspy and from the cold and having a sore throat, and then lo and behold, you know, yeah, that's what I thought, you little bastard. That's what I thought, you little bastard. Little shag nasty shit heel. That's what I thought. You stay the fuck on there. Well, that gold and silver was stubborn on wrapping the handle, but that's all right. We got her. Houston, we have a handle. There we go. That looks nice. Yeah. And last but not least, the parlor wand. Because it looks like one of those, magician style wands that you would wield like abracadabra, pull a bunny out of a hat kind of thing. And if I have the glow in the dark spray paint for it, I try to get the tips of these to glow. If I don't, it is what it is, because I don't have it if I don't have it. But I'll definitely get more wand supplies when I can. But this batch is almost done. Better blow my nose. I don't want to do that on camera though, so I'll probably do that off camera because it's kind of, kind of gross. And get these wands done as quickly as possible. If I get the system down to where I can get them done as quickly as possible, then I can sell more in 1 month than just doing a larger batch all at once, which is actually smart. Yeah. Cobra Craft wands on Etsy, baby. Noise. What kind of poop sells things? An entrepreneur manure. That was a really shitty joke. Entrepreneur. Yeah, right. There we go. Now, after doing all 10 wands with a nice handle, I still have a shit ton of wand leather left. They need to make carpet shampooers that are like the size of vacuum cleaners, and that you have water and soap in a tank, and that way you're not lugging around some big ass machine. It'd make cleaning your carpet much easier. Now there's something I could invent when I win the lottery, eh? The Cobra's carpet cleaner. You know what I'm saying? You'd be sitting there. Are you tired of using heavy ass rug doctors, busting your back to lift out a heavy thing full of water, refilling it? Nah, dude. That. I mean, it's 20 fucking 18 and we haven't come up with a way to make, we got cars that run on gas. We got solar panels, Facebook. You know what I'm saying? And we haven't come up with a way to make a portable or easy to use carpet shampooer. They're still bulky as fudge. And the reason why they do that is so you have to rent them. That's just the thing of it. If they make it so you have to literally rent it because that's how big it is, that makes them some extra money. Think about that for a second. Mineral spirits are awesome for getting paint off of one's hands. There's a little stain right by my workbench. Yes. Mineral spirits will get stains on the carpets every time, baby. Oh, that is beautiful. Oh, this is one right here. Let's see. Yeah. As soon as that mineral spirits dries, Facebook into on top of it literally takes the stain out. I've seen it done multiple times. I'll wrap it up here in a second. have noticed Facebook that the cold is going away rather quickly. I'm not as stuffy as I was earlier, which is good. But I'll grab some water and wrap it up. Facebook, I'll catch at you. Thank y'all for watching Facebook. I'll catch at you later.